Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Calm with Carlyn, yoga and meditation for your everyday life, and welcome to day 2 of the Yoga for Self-Love Challenge. Our theme today is balance, so whatever that means for you, whatever intention you take with you throughout practice of balance, I really think of the yoga practice as a whole, the yin and the yang, the working out and the working in. We're obviously going to be playing with some balance postures today. And as we're going through those, I want you to think about, find an awareness rather of your thoughts and see how we can take how we react to these tricky balances on the mat, off of the mat to the balance that we need to find in life. So we are going to get started in a standing mountain position, and I'll see you there when you're ready. Standing at the top of the mat, feet are hips width distance apart, grounding down through all 4 corners of the feet, the heels, the big toes, and the little toes. Core is engaged, tailbone is tucked, so glutes are squeezing just slightly. Palms are forward, shoulders are relaxed, and eyes can be closed here. So our feet in this posture and in the majority of our lives are our roots. They're what stabilize us, grounding us down, supporting us from the ground up. And throughout class today, I want you to remember that whatever is touching the ground, that is your roots, that is your support system. Trust in that balance. I'm feeling grounded and supported here. I'm finding a bit of gratitude for the simplicity of just standing and being supported. Find your breath. Soft inhales and exhales. Bring your awareness to your breath for the remainder of practice. Whenever the mind starts to wander, this is where we go. We refocus on the breath, on these postures, and how our breath guides us through them. Take one more inhale here. On your exhale, sigh it out through the mouth. And on your inhale, reach the fingertips up to the sky, reach up nice and tall. And as you exhale, find a mini back bend, cactus the arms. Take an inhale, reach up nice and tall, fingertips high. Exhale, mini back bend, cactus the arms. One more time, inhale, reach up, and exhale to find that little tiny back bend as you take it back, changing your center of gravity ever so slightly. Take an inhale, reach back up, and on your exhale, fold forward. Find a ragdoll pose here, keeping the knees bent. Grab onto opposite elbows. Just shake the head yes and no. Finding a release in the low back. And starting to open up through the backs of the legs as well. Whether your knees are super bent or there's just a micro bend in them. Notice as you forward fold, start to lean your weight into your toes. So balance is not just about being on one leg or standing on our hands. It's about a transfer of weight. So as we fold forward here, our weight is transferring to our toes. We're going to play with that a little bit more. Bend your knees as much as you need to bring your palms all the way down to the ground. You can even bring them slightly forward so you can start to straighten your legs a little bit. We're going to lean forward so the shoulders come past the wrists and your heels will start to come off of the ground. From here, lift that left foot up towards the seat and really come up on that right tippy toe, leaning forward, gripping the floor to find your balance here. And then slowly release, put both of the feet down, take it back for a second, weight in the heel. Get a little break for the wrists. And then take it back to the hands again, and we'll do that on the other side. Start by leaning forward, shoulders past the wrists. I know that's a lot of tension in the wrists and shoulders. Your right foot this time comes up to your seat. You're coming up onto your left tippy toes. Holding here and breathing. And then slowly releasing back down. Find that ragdoll once more. If that created any tension in the neck or the traps, maybe you interlace the fingers at the base of the skull, tucking the chin to the chest, releasing tension in the back of the neck and the upper back. And then when you're ready, take your hands to the mat, nice and wide with the fingers, and just step right back to your downward facing dog. Notice the change in weight here. Maybe your heels are reaching towards the ground but not touching. Your weight is still in your heels because they're energetically driving to the ground even if they're not making contact. All 10 fingertips are touching the mat, gripping like you're wearing baseball gloves, especially those thumbs and pinky fingers. Do whatever you need to here to open up. Maybe you pedal out the knees. Maybe you lift both heels at the same time and drive them back down to the ground. Whatever feels good, taking your gaze under your right shoulder and then under your left. And then when you're ready, stillness in your downward facing dog. Take an inhale here. Stay for your exhale. And then bend the knees slightly, keeping your core nice and stable, hips stable by pulling the belly button in. You'll walk your hands back to your feet. And we'll find one more ragdoll here. Maybe this time you straighten the legs a little bit more. Really focus on transferring the weight into the toes and reaching the crown of the head down to the ground. Just a couple breaths here before we get into our first standing sequence. As you're ready, release the fingertips down to the ground and slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time, tucking your chin to your chest. Your head will be the very last thing to come up. We'll activate our balance by wearing our highest heels to get to the top of the mat. So hands can be at your hips, or for more of a challenge, you'll reach them up. You're coming on to your tippy toes, putting those high heels on and slowly walking on your tiptoes all the way up to the top of the mat. Take your time to get there. Move slower than you want to. And when you arrive at the top of the mat, feet or hips width distance apart. Stay up on the toes just for another inhale. And then exhale, slowly lower the feet down. Keep the fingertips reaching to the sky. Inhale here. And on your exhale, send the hips back, hinge forward at the waist to bring the peace sign fingers down to the big toes. You're wrapping the peace sign fingers around the big toes for your yogi toe lock. Take an inhale, look up halfway. And on your exhale, bend the elbows to fold yourself in half. That bend in the elbows, the strength of the arms, is helping you get further in this forward fold. Here comes our first balance challenge. So keep your right fingers where they are, wrapped around the right big toe. Release the left fingers and bring your left hand to your hip. Start to feel your weight transfer to that left foot, pressing down through all four corners, the big toe, the pinky toe, and the heel. You're going to start to bend the right knee, coming up to standing, bringing your right leg with you, still holding on to the right big toe with those peace sign fingers. And then when you get to the top, maybe you stay here. Maybe you try extending that right leg, keeping equal weight in all sides of that left foot. If this is a lot, you can always rebend the knee. Wherever you are, release those fingers up to the sky. Maybe from here you try straightening the leg. And without touching the ground, we'll transition to a warrior three. So the right leg starts to come back as you hinge forward, finding that capital T shape. Maybe your hands come to heart center. Find your stability here. Use those roots of your left foot to keep you supported. Squeeze the inner thighs together to find your balance. Engage your core, belly button pulls in and up to the spine. Take one more inhale here. Stay put for your exhale. And on your next inhale, slower than you want to, step it back to a crescent lunge. So you're bending the left knee to 90 degrees, right toes plant, right heel lifts, fingertips reach up to the sky. Catch your breath here, take an inhale and an exhale. One more time, slow inhale. Exhale to sink. Interlace the hands behind the back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, open through the chest as you breathe in, and exhale to hold. From here, go ahead and bring your hands to your hips. Hinge forward. Start to transfer that weight into the left heel. You'll feel that left glute start to fire up. We're going to take off into a warrior three, lifting that right leg one more time, even if it takes you a couple tries to get there. And then here comes the tricky part. Bend the right knee, grab onto that right big toe with the right fingers one more time. Come all the way up to standing. Try straightening the leg as much as you can. And then slowly bring the right foot back down to the ground. Beautiful. And then release the right foot. Take a quick ragdoll here. And slowly make your way to the top. Maybe take a moment to shake it out. Shake out that left leg that supported you. Shake out the right leg. And we'll take that on the other side. Feet, hips width distance apart, grounding down through all four corners of both feet. Take an inhale, reach the fingertips up. On your exhale, hinge forward. You know where we're going to, so commit to this movement. Commit to your breath and your presence in this balance. Big toes, peace sign fingers, wrap around them. Take an inhale, look up halfway. And an exhale to bend the elbows and fold yourself in half. Just taking a breath here to reset in this yogi toe lock. And then you know exactly where we're headed on this other side. So release the right peace sign fingers from the right big toe. Take your right hand to your right hip and feel your weight start to transfer into all four corners of the right foot. From here, you start to lift that left foot up off of the ground, bending the knee, standing up nice and tall, and maybe you try straightening that leg out in front of you. Beautiful job. From here, you can rebend if you need to. Try reaching the fingertips up to the sky. Maybe from here, you straighten that leg. And we slowly hinge forward. Take the left leg back. Prayer hands in heart center as we hinge forward and find that warrior three. Again, inner thighs squeezed together, rooted down through all four corners of the right foot. Core is engaged to keep you stable. Take an inhale here. Stay where you are for your exhale. And on your next inhale, slower than you want to, take it all the way to a crescent lunge. The right knee bends, left heel reaches up. Inhale, fingertips to the sky. Exhale here. One more breath, take an inhale and an exhale. Beautiful. For the spirit of balance, interlace the hands behind the back. This time the opposite thumb goes on top. It'll feel really funky, but balance sometimes comes with discomfort. Take an inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, open the chest, and an exhale to stay here. Inhale, bring the hands to the hips. Exhale, hinge forward, sending your weight into your heel. When you're ready, you're taking off into a warrior three. We've been here before. We're not here for long. Bend that left knee when you're ready. Grab onto the left big toe with the peace sign fingers and start to straighten through that leg. Then slower than you want to, take that left leg all the way down to the ground. Find your ragdoll. Beautiful job. Shake it out here side to side, let go of tension, and then slowly roll up to standing one vertebrae at a time. We'll stay at the top of the mat. I'm going to come to face you. We'll find one more balance pose, a tree posture. So we'll start on the right side. The most accessible version is to bring the left foot to the right ankle. Next step would be to bring the left foot to the inner right shin. And your final step, the most challenging variation, would be to bring your left foot to the inner right thigh. Now, if you're here, think about balance. Think about squeezing your foot into your thigh, but also squeezing your thigh back into your foot, creating that stability. Opening through the left hip. Your hands can be on your hips at prayer, or maybe you try growing your treated challenge your balance even more. Wherever you are, you could challenge yourself by finding a mini back bend. You could close one or both eyes. So when we close our eyes, nothing changes, right? Except for we see black. We're still where we are. We're still rooted. So see if you can use that visualization of this strong tree that you're in to support you with one or both eyes closed. Take one more inhale here. On your exhale, slowly bring your hands back to heart center. Slowly bring your left foot back to the ground. Shake it out a little bit. And we'll take that on the other side. So the left foot grounds down all four corners. Most accessible variation, the right foot comes to the left ankle, can come up to the shin or all the way up to the inner thigh. Know that our sides of the body are not the same, so balance doesn't always mean doing the same thing on both sides. Sometimes we have to modify based on our strengths in our body. Your hands can come to heart center. Maybe you grow your tree. And same as the other side, no matter what variation you're in, try something different to challenge your balance. Maybe that's a mini back bend or a side bend. Maybe that's closing one or both eyes and visualizing your strength and balance to keep you rooted down here instead of falling over as soon as those eyelids shut, which of course, if you do fall over, we just get right back up. Take one more inhale here. And on your exhale, slowly bring the hands back to heart center and then slowly bring the right foot back down to the ground. Beautiful job facing the top of the mat if you're not already. Go ahead and bring your hands to your hips. Put on those high heels one more time, coming all the way up on your tippy toes. Woo! And from here, we're gonna start to lower down into a toe stand. So the knees will bend. The heels stay lifted this entire range of motion. You're slowly bringing the seat all the way down to the heels. When you arrive there, woo, stay up on your toes. Just for another breath, maybe you take your hands out in front of you as a counterbalance. And from here, we'll slowly come onto the heels and roll onto our backs. Give yourself a nice hug. Did lots of standing today. That's a lot on the hips and the knees. So we'll stretch it out here with a figure 4. Go ahead and cross your left foot on top of your right knee. You can stay here pressing the left knee away from the center of the body, or you can hug that right knee into the chest, opening up that left hip even more. Breathing here. Finding this moment of stillness. We did the work, we felt the shakes and the wobbles. Now it's time for the balance, the recovery that comes with the work. When you're ready, go ahead and switch out the legs. Cross that right foot on top of the left knee. Stay here, pressing the right knee away from the center of the body, or you can hug that left knee into the chest, actively pressing that right knee away, stretching out the right hip. Breathing through any tightness here. Relaxing the face and the jaw as we wind down our practice. Beautiful job. From here, reach both of the legs up to the sky for a waterfall pose. Take your arms long at your sides, just lifting the legs up in the air. Maybe you pointing through the toes, feeling a stretch in different parts of the leg, the front and the back. And then slowly you'll take the right leg down to the ground and then bring the left to meet it. Arms come long, legs come long. And feel supported. Your whole back body is pressing into the mat now as we move into our final rest. A short shavasana to counterbalance the work that we did. A little bit of stillness to counter that movement. And a little bit of letting go to counter all of the thoughts that we have in a day. Just take this next moment to just be present. Don't worry about anything. Don't think about anything. Just be here. Start to invite bigger breaths back into the body as you wiggle the fingers and the toes, rolling out the wrists and the ankles, shaking the head yes and no. Eventually finding a full body stretch, reaching the arms long behind you to transition to the fetal position, bending the knees into the chest, rolling on to the left or the right side, and slowly transitioning to a comfortable seat. Our first time in this seated upright position in class today. Just here to finish, taking your hands to your thighs. Take a big breath in. Eyes can be open or closed. Exhale, sigh it out. Beautiful job. Open the eyes when you're ready. Thank you so much for practicing with me, and I will see you back here tomorrow for day. Namaste.